this one today is going to be the Mike Lawson Partridge Caddis TroutFly. Kind of a fun pattern to tie. I've got a size, excuse me, 14 in the vise here. Just using some nano silk because that's just what was there at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and tie this back to where the gouge of the hook, or the gouge of the point of the hook would be, because that's typically where we're going to want our body to end. And once I've got that there, I'm going to bring my thread back up to about 75%, maybe 3/4 of the way up. And we're going to start off with just some Superfine dubbing. I'm going to use more of a tan Superfine. Just because that's what I see more of around the areas that I fish than other colors. But you can tie it up in, whatever color you have in your area, or what might be hatching at different times of the year. I'll dub that on pretty tight. Okay, so this is one part of the fly that's a little bit different. We're going to actually start dubbing from the middle front and then work our way backwards. And we're going to just work our way back to where we want the abdomen of the fly to begin. And we're going to actually build this up a little bit because we're going to do a reverse taper a little bit on this one. So we want it a little chunkier towards the back, growing thinner, moving up towards the eye of the hook. Just like so. And then I'll just go ahead and clip off the rest of that dubbing there. And we're going to be taking a couple of feathers more from this lower wing area, kind of a different area than what I usually pull them from, looking, something about like that. So I've grabbed 2 of those feathers, and then I'm going to line them up kind of back to back, so they're splayed out a little bit. And I'm doing that primarily to just make sure that I'm pulling off the fuzzy bits of both of them about the exact same amount. So now we should have something that's looking a little bit, more like that. This is going to be kind of a tent wing fly, so I'm actually going to face these 2 feathers to each other. So the idea when I have those 2 lined up is that you're getting that darker colored side of the feather on both sides here. So now that I've got those aligned in the kind of the tiny little fuzzies cleaned off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this right about the length of the hook. I'm going to do a pinch wrap where I'm pinching really tight on the shaft of the feather. Then I'm going to just bring my thread down, and I'm going to bring it down pretty tight and hard, and then we'll just take a couple of wraps and kind of see where we are. Okay, now that we've got those 2 tied in, if I turn the vise a little bit, hopefully you can see that they're kind of laying side by side on either side of the hook, and they make a nice looking caddis wing. With that kind of tightened down with a few additional thread wraps, we're just going to come on in here with our scissors and we'll cut off that excess amount. So with that trimmed down, now I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to take a few wraps here, but by the eye, clean things up just a hair. And then we're going to move our thread back kind of over the top of this body here. So next we're going to tie in just a grizzly saddle hackle. I've got a really long hackle feather from a whiting rooster here, and we'll just go ahead and tie this in by the tip, and I've got more than enough, which is good. That's kind of what I wanted anyway. So once I've got it kind of locked down there a little bit, we'll go ahead and take our thread back a little bit to where we really want this hackle to start, and then I'm going to hold it straight up and get at least one good thread wrap around the back of it. And then we'll mosey up towards the front of the hook and go ahead and clip this excess off here. Close to the eye of the peacock herl. Just in case you didn't know, that's the eye. They get a little bit fluffier up there towards the top, and I'm going to actually cut these off, the tips off, so they're about like so, and I'm going to tie this in by the tips, presuming I can get hold of them. So we're just going to go ahead and tie the peacock herl in here. I'm just going to take 2 or 3 wraps backwards, not pulling hard on it because I don't want these to break. But then I can just pull these backwards like that and get them kind of locked into place there without having to, you know, cut off really close to the eye. So we've got that taken care of. Okay, so we've got our bobbin cradle. I've got my peacock herl. I'm just going to twist it a couple of times. It just helps me keep it from those 2 strands from separating too far from one another. They do have a habit of doing that. We're just going to work our way up towards the eye. Our hackle's following us along because it's so long. I love those hackles. That's probably going to be sufficient right about there. So that's just the peacock here, and yeah, we need to keep our tension on, or that'll unwrap. And if you crank down on it too hard, you'll go right through the stems. So this is one of those times where you know, want the right amount of tension, not too much, not too little. But I do want to get those peacock herls secure and into place. And I've got my hackle now, my grizzly. I'm going to hold that straight up, and I'm going to just kind of spiral this, palmer this forward through that peacock herl until we get close to the front, and then we'll tie this off right about there. Again, this is one of those where you've got to keep the tension on. If I let it off at all, then I'm going to lose all of those wraps there, which is not what I'm looking to do. So with that, we'll go ahead and take a wrap or 2 over the stem just to make sure that we've got it secure. Okay, we've got our stem secured now. I'm just going to come in with my scissors and cut that stem off as close as I can. Just the stem only of this excess piece here. I have plenty left over to do several more flies here. So now that we've kind of finished up, again, it's a really great looking pattern. I think I said it before in my videos. Mike Lawson, his books were some of the first ones that I ever read, you know, 30 plus years ago, before as I was learning how to tie flies. I'm still learning. I don't mind leaving these wings a little bit jagged with the pokey uppies there. I think it just makes it look a little bit more buggy. But you can kind of see the 2 splayed out caddis wings. And then we've got our nice little hackle for our legs there. And there you go. Give it a shot.